we identify so much to our job, how much we make, still, unfortunately. But I think it's about to change, um, because that creates some sort of a jail. You know what I mean? Because if the definition of success change, it's because it's all the little personal definition of success that have changed, right?
Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Well, I mean, I forgot he was going to pick the topic, but I still have to introduce what we're doing. We got Mr. Marc Picard in the house, part deuce. Go ahead, Marc.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're going on a rant together. We record a couple of little short episodes and we challenge each other with a topic. So Austin doesn't know what we're going to talk about. Austin surprised me in the past episode about love, and I want to bring something up with you, Austin, and that's a curveball. So be careful. All right. In the previous episode where you were talking about your father, and you were saying that in your house there was, you were feeling love but there was no love or something like that, something along those lines, right? um, we never talk about something that is almost a taboo in our society. Your father was a dentist, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a successful dentist.
Very, very much so.
How did you feel towards your dad's success as
Terrible.
a young man?
Terrible.
Because and here's why I want to talk about this, Austin. Because we always say, "Oh, your dad is a businessman. It's easy for you. Yeah, your dad is a dentist. He's rich. It's easy for you."
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's not, because you grow up in the shade of a really, really big tree, and you have some very, very big shoes to fill. Until, I don't know, we're going to talk about this whole topic, but that's a topic of today.
It wasn't so much that he was a successful businessman. It was that he was revered by his clients. Like, he was a great person that people loved and always talked about. We always ran into clients on vacation, no matter where the fuck we were. Like, it was the joke in our family. Like, we were at Six Flags, a fucking thing, far away, and somebody yells out from across the thing, "Dr. Linney!"
No.
And I just put my fucking head down. It wasn't even that he was financially successful. It's that he was revered. Wow. And that's what I thought I couldn't live up to.
And well, look at you now. It was a process, for sure. It was a process, but that's interesting, because maybe that's the reason why you chose the path of partying, drinking,
1000%,
the hospitality industry, because it's about that. You know what I mean? You're connecting every night. You're drinking every night, so you're connecting with a bunch of different people, and you were a bartender, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you were the king of the night. You and the DJ,
mm-hmm.
more or less.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The bartender, the DJ, like those are, waitress and all that for sure. But those are like figure of, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it didn't help that I absolutely despise school too.
Oh,
so people have to understand, as we're recording this today, May 7th, whenever, like, of this year, like, college is just now becoming not a thing, like a path. But back when I was, it was, you go to school or you're gonna work at a Waffle House the rest of your life. That was the fucking narrative.
Yeah.
Like, even my dad's changed his tone, which is crazy to me, right? But it was that. And so I didn't like school. And so, like, you don't understand. People think that Rich Dad Poor Dad changed their life. And yes, it changed my mindset. But when he was talking shit about dentists and doctors and lawyers, that was my freedom to go, oh, I don't need to go to this path. I never in my life had somebody say, you don't have to do that. And when I read it, I go, oh, I'm finally. Jeez, I don't have to do this. Are you going to be a dentist too? Are you going to do this too? Fuck no. 9 years of college? I dropped out of college 3 times. You're out of your mind. No way. I would have never lasted. So that's what I was more scared of, is I couldn't live up to this education thing and being revered. It wasn't, I don't even know. I only know one time how much money he was making because I saw it on his office one time. But that was like later on. But I had no idea. But it was the way that people talked about him. It wasn't that he was making all this money that I ever cared about.
Wow. It all comes down to the definition of success that have changed because, in the past, I think we're the last generation, right? That success was getting a good job, having a lot of diplomas, titles, and degrees and PhD. That was success. Like success was purely financial. Almost, right?
Dude,
and now
Jerry Seinfeld was talking about this yesterday. He was talking about, he goes, when the fuck did everything become about money? He goes, in the 70s it wasn't. And he asked somebody that he respected, and he said in the 80s, it was the first time that stockbrokers and like individual men could make money for themselves, like big money. Yeah. And he goes, that's when it started shifting. He goes, because it doesn't really matter. Like, I forget what most of my friends do for work. I'm dead serious. Like, after I know you for a while, I go, oh yeah, he does that. But I never ask about that thing. Yeah. Because we don't talk about that thing. We talk about, how's your kids? How's life?
Yes.
How's your mindset? I don't care what you do. It means nothing to me.
And this is huge in America because it's embedded in your culture. I lived in America. I lived in Las Vegas for 8 years.
What's the first thing they do when they speak
to you? What do you do for a living?
What do you do for a living? First thing.
Listen to this. This is why I live in Spain, because you don't talk about those shit. People don't care about that. They really don't. So, I go to I go every week. I go to the coast between Barcelona and Valencia, and it's a small fisherman town, right? And around the table, we all sit down to drink beer, and the old folks smoke cigarette all day long and all that. But there's young 15-year-old, 20-year-old, there's a rich guy, there's a poor guy, there's a guy that is like, everybody come from very different background, and they get along, they share a beer together. They don't talk about that. They were born and raised there. They're just together, right? And in America, we identify so much to our job, how much we make still, unfortunately, but I think it's about to change. Because that creates some sort of a jail. You know what I mean? Because if the definition of success changes, because it's all the little personal definition of success that have changed, right? Before there was only one narrative. It was the narrative of the TV, the radio, the newspaper. That's it. So of course it was easy. It was easy to think that your only way out was to study, because in newspaper, what do you read? Doctor whatever says this specialist and blah blah, this politician that is also a lawyer did this and that and this and that. And now we're on social media with normal folks can grab their phone, shoot a video that can literally change your life. Right? I remember I saw one short, it was years ago, of a singer somewhere in Hungary that has a house. I was still in Vegas, and I saw his house, like a super simple house. He was growing his food, musician. And I was like, that's the life I want. It changed my life. It was 30 seconds. It was just a little video, like fuck, like this, and boof, my life changed. Back then, I could have never even meet or know that person, right? So my definition of success is the definition of success is very unique to every person, right? So that's why now I think it's easier to navigate if you come from when your parents are very, very successful, let's say, right? Now I think it's easier to find your way. There's more opportunities now.
Yeah, I also think it's harder.
Yeah,
it's harder. It's harder because false expectations have been placed on you when you haven't even put on your socks yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their dads. I mean, here's the question: how do you think these freaking kids feel? Their dads are worth like 100 million, 1 billion. How the fuck do you think they feel? You wonder why they're doing drugs and acting like psychopaths? because everybody's looking at them go, fuck, I mean, he's got to be great too. Like, what the hell?
No.
Like, and so they're not even allowed to have an opportunity to grow, right? Dude, I heard something today, dude, changed my freaking life, dude.
What?
So he says, I'm about to stump you because I don't think you've ever thought about this ever before. He goes, did you know that trees grow in 2 different directions?
Yes.
Okay, but I didn't. It never crossed my mind. And what he was talking about is the difference between the roots and the top. And he said the top searches light and moves away from gravity. The roots, the seeds, that's the work that nobody sees. That's the work that you do in the shadows. And he goes, the only reason why the tree's strong is for the work the people don't see.
Yeah, for the work that people put in the soil. And that takes years, my friend, to have a good soil. Years. You don't just call a truck of manure or whatever, and then everything is fine. If you really want to grow shit, for your retreat place, for example, it's taking years to prepare the soil.
You can't force the land. I have the land in my mind. I know exactly what it looks like. Like it's a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know, but you need to go look for it. I go, no, I'm not going to go look for it.
Yeah.
It'll come right when it's time.
Yeah.
Right when it's time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I rarely share stuff like this, but I have a coach. We coach for like a month, and then we take off, and then we'll wait. And the coach, she's a different type of coach, and she said to me in January, she said, "You will surpass your father, not by a dollar amount, but like by lots, and that will never be a concern for you. But if you need to pass him, you won't pass him."
Oh, wow. So you need to let go the young Austin Linney that was seeing his dad as, now it's time for the adult Austin Linney that looks as his dad as another adult, and that's it. That you love unconditionally, for sure.
Very excited about getting to know each other. But what I find the most exciting is now my dad's asking me for advice too.
Oh, wow.
And it's such a weird place to be in when he calls and he's like, "Hey, can I get some advice?" And vice versa, right? I and I love it. I just think it's so cool because even a man that I revere as amazing at business with people, he's been coaching small businesses for 35 years, still needs help. And I don't even find it help. I find his curiosity to be awesome. And I hope that when I get his age, I never lose that sense of curiosity to always be trying to get better.
Yeah. If you keep going like you're going right now, that won't be a problem. That won't be a problem. So yeah, it's a challenge. I feel it's a topic that needs to be explored more because there's a taboo around that sort of mindset that because your parents are successful, then everything is easy for you. It's just different challenges. You had to deal with different challenges with your own father, like anyone else, right? And it's not less or more valuable than someone that start from scratch and the self-made millionaire and all that. It's not better or worse. It's just another story, right?
Yeah, 100%. Guys, if you got some value, send it around. We'll see you next time.
Guys, let me take a minute to tell you about my buddies over at Lead Hub, Ben and Aaron, the best humans I know. Not only are they amazing at marketing for trade companies, but Ben started his HVAC company in his garage, sold it for multi-million dollars. So when this guy talks, I listen. When we took over Dietz Mechanical, we had 22 reviews in 22 years. In 7 short months, we went from 22 reviews to 107. We went from a 4.2 to a 4.7. We tripled our Facebook presence and we tripled our calls. If you're an HVAC, plumbing, electric, landscaping company, and you're looking for a no BS approach to marketing, you're looking for people who have done it before, you got to go to leadhub.net